Okay. All right. Welcome to tonight's ZBA hearing. Tonight is not, we're not hearing any public testimony. It's a work session. We've heard everything. The meeting was closed. So it's being recorded, but we're going over, do you want me to say the agenda, what we're going over? For the, you do? You want that? Okay. So today we're here for the application on 112 Arlington Avenue. It's appeal number ZB 0007-24, Suffolk County Tax Map number 206-0011-002-0027, RB-2 Residential District. The property owner is Joseph Dovey. The applicant is Brookhaven Expeditors, care Andrew Malganara. The contact is Andrew Malganara. The description is driveway expansion and alterations. The public hearing was closed on July 25th. The applicant requests postponement, postponement of decision from 8/22 agenda to tonight, 9/19. Pursuant to the Village Code, Section 250-33A, the applicant requests the following variances to maintain an existing driveway expansion with a width of 9.6 feet where 5 feet is permitted. The variance number 1 is all driveways providing access to any lot shall be located entirely on such lot, and no portion of such driveway shall be located upon adjoining lots, in whole or in part. Constructed driveway is currently being shown as partly on the adjacent property to the north. The variance number 2 is 3 subsection A. Any part of the driveway which is located forward of the front foundation line of a dwelling and forward of a garage may not exceed the width of the garage door by more than 5 feet and may not be located less than 5 feet from any side lot line. Constructed driveway is extending 9.6 feet at the northwest corner of the garage and 7.6 feet from the northeast corner of the garage where only 5 feet extension is allowed. Variance number 3, it's 3 subsection A. Any part of the driveway which is located forward of the front foundation line of a dwelling and forward of a garage may not exceed the width of the garage door by more than 5 feet and may not be located less than 5 feet from any side lot. Constructed driveway is up to and extending further beyond the northern property line where a 5-foot setback is permitted. Now we're just going to discuss it? Okay. Okay. Let's just back because it is a little intimidating. Right, so we had questions
Yes.
for, and we got the answers. Mr.
Yeah,
Dovey
they provided an email.
provided all the answers, which we have here. We had questions.
Yeah. So the first paragraph he writes talks about some of the previous owners, the condition of the overgrown weeds, how it was cleaned up, the number of cars that was parked, how they had a double garage in their garage to accommodate for that. So they feel that this accommodates the aesthetics and parking situation. They go on to say that on that street you can't park on any
In
other
front of his
portion.
house, yeah.
A hardship per se. Right?
Is there a reason for that? I guess.
Has to do with buses or
I think it's also visual topography over there and part of the hill and coming up. I think it was part of
Or
that
is
as
it too
well.
narrow to,
Yeah.
people park on both sides?
Whatever it is, it's
Well-
village code, so they're adhering to it and creating the additional parking space. And then they go on to clarify that the majority portion of the driveway was pre-existing. So they've supplied the photographs to show that the red brick was the existing and the gray brick is the new extension of the driveway that was added.
Do you have, Cindy, sorry, do you have a copy of the survey that they had submitted? Just because that's what we had our questions on.
you have it here?
I mean,
You can pop it up.
Oh,
You have it? Would you mind? So now we had questions about the driveway.
No, it's okay. No need to.
No, it's fine, I've already studied it.
Yeah.
So,
So this is where it
So-
extends 9.6 feet beyond
yeah,
that side.
And they reduced the retaining wall in height, so you'll see that they go to the 1.3 feet in,
Right here, right?
yep.
Yeah.
instead of, over two. I read that. How far out does the driveway come from the garage doors?
So it extends 9.6 feet from the northwest corner
Yeah.
and 7.6 feet here. Right, so this is the, how, this is the area where they need the variance, right? So it shouldn't be wider than that, correct?
Yeah, it's supposed to be just
The width of the,
the garage doors.
I think we wanted to know the width of the garage doors to understand the percentage of the variance.
So they provided that in saying that the garage doors are 82 inches tall and they are 94 inches wide each. So that's gonna be times two, because that's a 20-foot wide garage, so that's a 2-bay.
We wanted a survey to have all the measurements on here. Remember you had wanted that.
So it's 15 2/3 feet, and we're granting a variance for 9 feet, so you're talking over 50%.
okay.
I think it's over 2 foot.
They did adjust this so that this variance is only in existence until this comes into disrepair, and then they will not be able to rebuild it like this.
Right.
But what do they mean by that? In disrepair, do they mean, sometimes pavers break and you redo it, and or if they decide to redo the whole
Well, I
driveway?
think the greatest concern is that there's retaining walls. That was, in my review of this, I had a concern of the fact that there are retaining walls that extend over to the neighbor's property. So that became a concern for me in regards to liability.
The
and
neighbor-
damage.
It's the neighbor who gave us the boundary line agreement, so he's
Unreco-
okay with that.
They agree that the,
It's
un-
not recorded
unrecorded.
yet.
Yes, but
So it's
that's what
it's a
we
chicken
had.
or the egg. Do they record and then get their variance, or do they get the variance and then record?
Well, I guess.
they've
well,
intentionally not recorded
So
because
wait a
they're
minute.
waiting for the variance.
I think we should either, if we decide to grant the variance, then we don't issue it until they,
Yeah,
and
contingent.
it's
upon it
contingent
being
upon
filed.
them getting it.
Yeah, that makes
filed.
sense.
Yeah, 100%.
It says agree that the driveway, masonry, wall, and fence may remain in their present location to be
I
used and maintained
expressed
by the party of the
liability
first part
concerns.
for as long as they shall stand. In the event of reconstruction of the aforesaid, the parties agree that they
I'm
will
sure,
be
did you
relocated.
read the boundary line agreement? I forgot.
Yeah,
Oh, there was caveat
Yeah.
there. Is there anything about liability?
So it is of the homeowners of 112 Arlington's responsibility to maintain.
Maintain, well, the liability as far as fall, somebody getting injured.
That was where I sent an email and had expressed a concern.
you see, here's the interesting part, okay? If we take this action, and this is not recorded,
Well, we don't, it's
I know.
contingent on the.
I
recording, so
know,
We don't
but-
get it until it's recorded.
and we've got nothing to say it's in full force today. This was done,
I get
on
that,
April.
but it is, it's like one of those, the chicken and the egg, so they're purposely not recording it to see whether or not we grant it.
But
So I think that you don't, it'll be contingent on them.
Correct.
If they don't record it,
Then
then
they
we
won't
don't
get it.
get it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
So that, I think that's an easy.
what could go wrong?
fix to that.
Have you ever had experience in easement agreement and municipality approval on any easement agreement?
No,
sometimes you do have to get that, but
I have not, in 20 years in real estate, I've
I've
never
never
seen
had
it, and I've done plenty of easement agreements. I mean, I've
yeah,
experienced them with you. My biggest concern was making sure that there is no liability for the village should somebody trip and fall and whatnot, because we are,
Are you talking about the part that's on the village property?
no, that's a whole separate issue, but I just don't know the village passing agreement on this,
Oh, no,
on
no.
this easement, and making sure that we're free of liability as well.
Well, wouldn't
That
we
wouldn't apply.
automatically be free?
Yeah,
because
that
it's
wouldn't
their
apply.
property.
It's their property.
Hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's
Yeah,
a
I
good
don't
point,
think
but
we-
there's no village property in question here, right?
There
No.
is, at the very end, there's
Oh.
village property down.
And they
here.
have structures here, so that's
Oh.
a single and separate issue as well. But that's
But
a
I think
separate issue
between-
we're not on
I
right
think
now.
the liability between him and his neighbor.
Okay.
And is it in the boundary line agreement? Like,
Here,
do they talk
here.
about liability?
Is this it right here?
Yep,
Classic
that's it.
law. I mean, again, that's between them. If they didn't, their attorneys looked at it and said that it was good and they were happy with it. Will indemnify
Hold harmless
unless
party
from
in
any
the
loss,
second. part.
liabilities, reasonable attorney's fees. There you go. I think I'm
So-
okay,
Contingent upon them recording.
recording it.
Well,
when
and,
it gets-
and we could be waiting for a long time for that recording to come back, so it would just be contingent on
It's
it
gonna be
being
held-
proffered, on it being proffered to the county. You see what I mean? A
I
recording,
want you to have the recording.
the
Because
receipt, no,
with the
no, no,
receipt,
with the
yeah.
receipt, the
Receipt,
receipt,
exactly.
but you don't have the actual recording.
No, it's
document.
because it takes a year.
It could take.
If you're lucky.
It's a-
So if you get the receipt, you're fine, and then you
Yeah.
can, you know that it was recorded.
yeah. And they should really return to us an affidavit from the neighbor.
Or
It remains in full force and effect because this is dated in April, the agreement.
Well,
and
the neighbor was here, not the
Did they
last, the one before
provide
that.
testimony?
Yeah.
They went on the record?
Yeah.
Didn't they? Yes,
The
and he
neighbor-
said he
the
had no
neighbor.
problem. Yeah,
No,
the
no,
neighbor.
not that neighbor, other neighbors.
Oh,
No, no, I'm
that
talking
neighbor
about the
was here.
neighbor whose property rights we
Yeah,
are
that's-
about to severely affect unilaterally.
I
But
think-
they have they have the agreement.
And
he's
the next
saying
day
it's
I
still in
revoked that
full.
agreement.
The next state you revoked that.
That's right.
But then
Yeah.
they wouldn't be able to file the,
We'd have to have a paper showing that they revoked the agreement.
right, they wouldn't be, they wouldn't be able to file, and they wouldn't get the they wouldn't get the,
How do we know if they revoked or not?
Because he couldn't get it because we're holding it for them to file it.
Right, but we should get an affidavit that said at the time it was proffered for recording, we consent that it is in full force and effect. The agreement is in full force and effect.
I mean, you could do that with anything. You could do
Sure.
it 10 minutes later, say, it's not, I revoke it,
It's
but
like
too
when
late, I've
we-
already recorded it.
But that's the thing, that's why we go to closes, we have an affidavit, the power up there is still in full force and effect, is it right? Think about it. And the lapse of time.
I do see what you're saying, but I don't, I also think
Yeah.
it's a little overkill.
Okay. And that this is the,
Because I'm sure they would be here tonight if they had an issue.
yeah,
once
you'd
they
hope
have
so.
taken it.
You would hope
Well,
so.
they got
You would hope so, right?
they have mailings and stuff.
Right.
They were at
They know.
they would have been at the last open public
You would
meeting.
hope so. You would
Yeah.
hope so. That's why you take those procedural safeguards to mail, to get certified with
Right,
that,
if
right?
they don't come,
Right.
it's,
Especially, we're not just affecting one person's property.
he's already given up the rights.
On April 4th, he did, and then it's now
If he was
September,
going to, I'm sure he would have gone down.
and it hasn't been recorded yet.
I think-
Tracy, I think it's overkill, I think.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think we have to take it at
Simple affidavit then. In full force, the April 4th agreement was proffered for recording on said day and is in still full force and effect. Signed.
So you want to
neighbor-
extend it further and not vote tonight?
No, no, that's gonna be a contingency of the
Saying that the
Right.
receipt and then getting. that.
receipt with an affidavit saying that the April 4th agreement was submitted, and neither neighbors swear that it's still in full force and effect. I have not revoked this agreement.
Again, I feel like,
You see what I mean?
I do, I feel like it's a little.
yeah, I mean, as long as they
Simple.
file it.
They
simple.
signed it, if I sign something. and
Because
I'm
just
giving away
another
rights
way to
and I-
make sure that
can I
that
just-
neighbor is being,
Yeah, but if they weren't on board now, then.
They
That's
would
not,
have
that's
gone
not
down
for
to
us,
the
that's not
village.
for us to,
They'd be taking the necessary steps
Steps,
to
they'd
raise
be
their
down
hand.
and
Right.
I'd be running to the building
Right.
department, I'd be
It's not
here
like they don't know
tonight.
what's going on.
they could be passed away at this point.
They could have been abducted.
What do you
by
mean?
aliens. They-
And the estate and the children have no idea, and they were about to hire a realtor to sell the home, and They just found out.
Could you imagine?
These are some crazy hypotheticals.
And that's why you got a simple
But
affidavit that says it's
he's
in
not
full
wrong.
force and effect.
I mean, we've gone to go to
Okay.
closings and realized that people don't own.
Do you
things.
know if she died, the neighbor?
No.
Okay, neither do I.
So just
It's
tell
very
them.
simple.
All right, so again, the
I
simple
have to leave
affidavit.
soon, I
that
got
they write.
to-
All right, so
That's
we
not
can
our
make,
problem, though.
so we
We're
can
here
make
at the
that,
board.
we can make that, so that's a second contingency. One is
simple.
that we get the receipt, and two is that we get the.
Worried about liability. I'm worried
Okay.
about that
We
liability.
get an
We like that.
updated affidavit that states that this is.
Full
still
force
in
and effect.
Full force and effect since the
The April 4th
document that
agreement
was
is in
put in
full force and
agreement
effect.
7 months ago. What are we on?
Yeah, 7 months ago.
No, April, May, June, July. August,
5.
September,
5.
5 months. All right, so we'll do that.
Not bad, right?
but, how about that survey that we don't have?
Is this the newest one that was
No.
requested,
No.
or no, the
No,
newest
no,
one
that's not
hasn't
coming
come?
in.
There's a delay
it's
on
a
it.
3 week
There's a
thing.
delay.
But do we need it?
We do.
When is that?
That was, they got it
August.
last year. They had to get it, so they got.
Additional mapping updated September 5th, 2024. So this
Oh,
is the,
so
this
it's a-
is the most updated.
Yeah, that's good.
So that email must have been,
So this is the one they just received, post the email, because this email was sent in agreement on August 21st, 2024. So this is September 5th, 2024. So they did end up receiving this in time for this meeting. It wasn't going to be
Yeah.
available for last meeting.
Perfect.
So was there anything else that we were waiting for from them? I
No,
remember it was this, with the measurements on it, which are there.
How many variances are there? 1 or 2?
Three.
Three.
3. Okay.
two are kind of like redundant.
Yeah,
Okay.
they are. Um, both with the width of the doors. One is that it's.
Is there, we're gonna make a vote, right?
Yeah, but we have to.
Anybody think is there any easy one to just first off the bat know that
Hold
we're
on, I
doing?
can't even find it. Here we go. No, this is August 22nd, minutes. Agenda. This is old. I have one here, it's just,
Here's the agenda. Here, okay, so we got variance 1, all private,
Yeah.
okay.
for the variance one, all driveways providing access to a lot should be located entirely beyond such lot. No portion of the driveway should be located on adjoining lot.
doesn't hold the previous.
And then variance 3 is basically the same thing.
Variance 3 is any part of a driveway is
Adoption of
located
No, do you want to copy?
forward of
No,
the
no, no,
lot
not
of
at all.
dwelling
I just
or
wanted to see, I didn't
may
see
not
that. I'm
exceed the
sorry, I
width of the garage
apologize.
door by more than feet.
Well, no, that's variance 2, and then if you keep reading, and also,
No, that's variance 3.
no, and I know, but they're, because they're,
Oh, I see what you're
it's
saying.
part of the same subsection, right? So it extends 5 feet beyond the width of the, or extends beyond the width of the garage doors, and it is also less than 5 feet from the side lot line,
On the
which,
side lot.
I mean, obviously, because it encroaches on.
It encroaches on the next, which is the same as
Yeah.
1.
Correct.
And what's 3? Any by the driveway?
That's
Oh.
what 3 is. 2 is the one that talks about extending beyond the width of the doors themselves.
So the boundary.
Yes.
So we have the variance 1. You have the boundary line. You're doing these as one whole one, or we're gonna do?
I think you gotta go one by one, right? Or I mean, you mean going through the criteria or voting?
Do you want to, yeah, I guess we should go through the criteria. Should we?
Yeah.
So you're gonna need to start by approving the minutes, and we are going to have to delay the August 22nd minutes,
Yeah.
and then we can go through the voting.
Why,
I'll make a
why can't we just put it this?
I mean, we could do this and then do the minutes
Yeah.
afterwards. We've done that before too.
Yeah,
Run a roll, you know?
Go in the same session, right? I mean, I guess you should really do the minutes first. It does not, what we talked about the other
Mhm.
time, right? It's kind of, I like it.
And I can vote on the minutes because I wasn't here last week, so I can't.
So we have to delay August 22nd because it was only Dan and Mark and I, and we don't have a quorum for the August 22nd, but the three of you can vote on the May
The other
30th and the July 25th.
Okay, so we're gonna make a motion?
For the minute?
Yeah. Make a motion to delay, right, on
Okay.
August, because we don't have a quorum.
All right, so we're going to make a motion. I make a motion to approve the minutes from May 30th, 2024.
Okay, I second that motion, AC.
I,
Vote.
yeah, all in favor.
Aye. Aye.
All in favor?
Mhm.
Okay,
Anyone against? All right, so we're going to also approve the minutes from July 25th, 2024. Do I hear a second?
make a second, AC.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And we're going to adjourn approving the minutes for August 22nd till next meeting because we don't have enough people here.
It was just Dan,
Just those
myself,
So
three.
you
and
should-
Mark.
You second that one.
Second,
Okay, she need Mark here.
yeah, need Mark, exactly.
But to delay that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries to delay August minutes. Tracy
Aye.
moved, Dan seconded on that. And motion carries to delay the August minutes. We don't have a quorum.
Till October 24th.
So what's our motion on this? To approve
So variance number 1,
for
so
variance?
go through, we're going to read through
Oh,
work
we're gonna
session
go
and
through
what
them.
it is.
Can we just consider 1 and 3 at the same time, since they're,
Pretty much the
as
same.
one of the criteria, they are basically the same?
Yeah.
Yep.
Can we do that, or would you prefer them individually?
I'm not even saying we vote, I'm just saying as we go through the criteria. right,
That's fine.
You know,
I just want to know how they need it in writing.
Okay, so on variance 1 and 3, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to new properties will be created by granting the area variance. You said no. It's not going to.
I don't think so.
So long as the neighbor agrees.
As-
Yeah,
Since the neighbors on board.
since they came into an agreement with it, yes.
Still alive.
Okay, whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance. Like it's based on the layout of the driveway, to widen it.
Yeah, and as the memo states, I mean, even if you were to shift it over, you'd still be in a position where,
Yeah,
so again,
Again, I
I
don't know.
don't think it could.
no. Is it substantial? We said yes, because you
Yes.
said it's over 50%.
I believe, well, that's the second variance, the first variance,
Oh, yeah,
right? Well, I mean, and yes, it's still substantial, right?
Substantial, it's on-
It's over 100%, right?
Percent.
Because it's actually encroaching
on
onto the
somebody
other
else's
yard.
property.
But again, taking into consideration the fact that they have this agreement, I mean, obviously, if they didn't have the agreement, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or the district. I don't think so, because as they said, it's gonna be
Mhm.
gravel and.
One might
plastic
argue that it
permeation.
improves it because it limits parking on the
On
street.
the street.
Street,
There you go.
and also what they did was visually,
Yeah,
much
yeah,
nicer
a
than
lot of
what was
neighbors came
there.
out and said that
it
they
was,
prefer it
And
aesthetically.
they
so-
incorporated trees into the design.
Yeah, to
so
make it
it's,
pretty.
we're not just
aesthetically
not gonna
pleasing.
absorbing runoff.
Yeah. And whether the alleged difficulty was self-created.
Yes, it
Yes,
was, that's
obviously.
obvious.
Existing.
So based on that, should we make a motion
This is on
to?
1 and 3.
This is
One
like,
and three.
do you want to go through 2 as well, and we can vote on all of them
Sure.
Oh,
in one
okay.
shot?
Okay,
Stay in that mindset, I like it.
okay, so 2 is,
2 is the width of the garage extending beyond the width of the
Beyond.
doors.
yeah. So whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the area variance. No, I think it would be, it's aesthetically pleasing
Yeah,
looking at the
we-
pictures. It doesn't make an undesirable change. It doesn't look like a parking lot.
Right.
You know,
The fact that it was done in paver and not asphalt, and they were conscious of trying to create softscape around it.
they also said that they're not gonna be parking trucks or anything like that on there, so it's better than what it was. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance. It's kind of a,
I suppose you could have, built it, a straight line down there and not extended it out to here.
you could have, but
I mean, just because the answer is no for one, doesn't mean that.
yeah.
The homeowner stated that the area in question had always been used for parking by the previous owner, so
Yeah.
could they have, but yes, it's been utilized as this, just more unsightly and
Yeah, they just
less
cleaned it up.
formal of a design.
How did they know? What the-
When they, all the neighbors told them, and when they pulled up, it was all
It's
filled
hearsay.
with.
Offered for the truth of the matter.
Thank you,
asserted,
counsel.
If I recall. That's convenient.
Well, no, when you have
They
everybody
got an
backing it
affidavit
up.
saying that that's what the neighbor did?
Maybe they
The
went
na-
on
the neighbors
MapQuest, that
came
was
in here
circa
and said-
2020, 2013, and
The
they saw
neighbors
the
came in and
aerial
said
view.
it.
They said?
Yeah,
Okay, good. It's on
Whether-
record.
whether the requested area variance is substantial.
Suppose, right, and when you're talking about percentages, I mean, they can get funky, it's 9.6 feet variance, right, where,
Yeah,
so, again,
Uh,
that's.
9.6 and 7.6.
Yeah. Talking over 50%.
So, yes and yes. Whether the requested area variant, oh, we did that one. Whether the proposed variance will have the adverse effect or impact on the physical environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district.
So,
Certainly not environmental conditions.
and
Um,
again, it'll actually, I think,
Improve
benefit-
it with the-
improve it by getting cars off the street.
Yeah, we
Sure.
really don't.
Microphone to me.
The criteria 2 and 3, I couldn't hear what you, I didn't hear what the decision.
We're just-
On
We're just
the benefit sought could be achieved by some other method. We said it probably could, but
But this is the,
this is the night.
this was the use of the.
Property before, so, yeah. And then on 3, whether it was substantial, we said yes, because it's over 50%. We said, for D, we said no, adverse effect.
The number 4.
That was the adverse effect, and that one, we said no. It actually improves it.
Thank you.
And was it self-created? Yes.
Yes.
Actually, we could have done all 3 of them at the same time.
Good, yeah,
Yeah.
in hindsight, yeah. Okay.
So now we want to make a motion to do, just make a motion to approve the variances.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to approve all 3 like at the same time, I think that's an issue, we used to do that.
Yeah. Since, well, the boundary line agreement already says that it's not running the land.
I just wasn't sure.
It says that the minute it,
I guess it's only in on the boundary line as well. So I just didn't want.
Contingent upon the approval of the boundary line being
Right.
recorded, and an updated affidavit in regards to, in agreeance of,
In full force and effect at the time of recording.
I just don't want there to become something later where
no, it'll be,
they can say, oh, well, I got the CPA grant.
It's an interesting point, right? Because right now the agreement says that if it falls into disrepair, you'll move it. But what if it falls into disrepair after the current homeowner, right?
This runs with the land, guys,
but it runs with the
All
land. This will
day.
come up in a title report as soon as.
forever.
yeah,
It'll come up in the title report that is not allowed to be rebuilt. It could be 15 owners from now, and it'll
It's,
still come up.
Great.
It's.
And every new owner will be made aware of it.
well,
what's your point?
and will substantially affect people's decisions about whether they want to buy that home. True. And
Yeah.
but that's
The
fine.
neighboring property, not the subject
Yeah,
property.
Sure.
Yeah, the neighboring
Yes.
property.
Mhm.
Severely affects both parcels.
I wouldn't say severely.
Depends on your opinion.
Depends on your opinion.
And if
But
you
not
took
for
2
us,
feet of-
not for us to,
He decided to do that.
that'll be for a potential future buyer to assess their,
Yeah,
their impact.
so, I make a motion to grant all 3 variances, with the contingent that they file the boundary line agreement and that they get the affidavit,
That the
that it's,
agreement
that
is
the,
in full.
that boundary line agreement is still in full force and effect,
And that affidavit comes from the neighboring property.
property. Do you want to notarize?
Gotta be notarized,
Okay,
An
notarized,
sworn.
And provided receipt of recordance of
yeah, upon the
said affidavit.
receipt of, from the filing of the recording,
Right.
then we'll issue the
Second.
second.
Who
Do you-
was the second?
Dan,
Dan,
Thank you.
anybody else voting?
Favor.
All
All
in
in-
favor?
aye.
Aye. Thank you.
So did you understood what the contingencies were?
Yeah, we need a receipt from the county that they filed a
Yeah.
contract agreement with the county and the affidavit
Saying
the
that it's
agreement's
still in full force.
Force in effect at the time of recording. 5 months ago.
I get it.
The county won't take your deed if it's 15 days old.
I do think
What
though
about
that
that?
they would have come in and said something. to this.
Motion to close.
Oh, sorry. Make a motion to close the hearing, the meeting, the work
Second.
session.
Aye.
Alexia, second. Dan,
Okay.
Aye.
There we have it. The
back to
ayes
school
have it.
night.
We usually don't make motions to close the public session.
No, that's why it's a little confusing.
Yeah.